Ayama Aikawa is a zombie resurrected by the necromancer Eucliwood Hellscythe after being killed by an unknown assailant. A month later, Eucliwood is now living with Ayumu as he continues to search for his killer. While searching for a graveyard, Ayumu encounters a chainsaw-wielding named Haruna fighting a giant demon bear known as Megalo, cutting through Ayumu to defeat it. Haruna attempts to erase Ayamu's memories, but he inadvertently absorbs her magic. Haruna decides to stay at Ayamu's house until her power returns. The next day, Ayumu is attacked by a crayfish-like Megalo. Haruna arrives but is unable to summon her magic, so Ayumu uses his zombie strength to pummel the Megalo. He discovers that he can use Haruna's magic to finish him off. Ayumu is humiliated after being seen by his classmates wearing Haruna's frilly costume. Ayumu is informed by Haruna that he must fight the Megalos in her place. A week after the Megalos attack, Ayumu's dinner time is interrupted by a vampire ninja named Seraphim, who requests Eucliwood's assistance. When Eucliwood refuses, Seraphim decides to replace Ayamu's role as Eucliwood's assistant, and challenges him to a duel which Ayumu just barely manages to win, as he is unkillable. Seraphim decides to become Ayamu's servant and live with him. Though she has no intention of actually serving Ayumu, she does it to be close to Eucliwood. Ayumu recalls the night when he first met Eucliwood when he came across a house being attacked by a serial killer, and was struck in the back by a sword. Eucliwood happened to be on the scene and revived him as a zombie. The following day, when Haruna gets into an argument with Ayumu and tells him to die, Eucliwood slaps her, saying death isn't to be taken lightly, prompting Haruna to apologize. Ayumu goes bowling with his classmate, Orito, where they happen to run into Haruna, Eucliwood, and Seraphim. Ayumu tries to keep Orito from finding out the girls are living with him, but fails miserably. Afterward, Orito takes Ayumu with him to visit a girl named Kyoko, who was injured in the serial killer incidents. Once alone with her, Ayumu asks Kyoko about her attacker, whose description matches that of Eucliwood. While wondering if he should suspect Eucliwood, Ayumu is attacked by a Doberman Megalo named Kerberos Wansard, who, as Hell's watchdog, has come to return the resurrected Ayumu to the underworld. But he stops when he sees Eucliwood heal Ayumu's injuries. As he leaves, he mentions the soul of someone being murdered nearby, so Ayumu follows him. Kerberos reveals that Eucliwood takes on people's pain when she heals them. After arriving at the murder scene, both Ayumu and Kerberos are stabbed. Kerberos fatally, and Ayumu is unable to make out the killer's face. Ayumu talks with Eucliwood, who explains that in order to keep her powerful magic under control, she must wear magical armor, cannot express her emotions, or even speak. Eucliwood cries, wondering if Ayumu hates her now that he knows this, but he insists that he will stay by her side. The next day, the city is attacked by a giant whale Megalo, which Seraphim and Ayumu in Maso Shoujo form defeat after Seraphim cuts its neck open and Ayumu utilizes 1000% of his Maso Shoujo form's power to kick its head off. Ayumu takes a call from Haruna's teacher, Dai-sensei, who tells her she originally planned to send Haruna to Kyoto to get tofu, but she ended up in Tokyo instead. Ayumu then gets a call from Kyoko, who agrees to meet him to help get the tofu for Dai-sensei. When the two meet at the graveyard, Kyoko stabs Ayumu, revealing herself as both the serial killer and a Maso Shoujo. She tries to kill Ayumu, but Haruna and Seraphim arrive to back him up, though Kyoko still has the advantage of using powers similar to a Megalo's. As Ayumu transforms and joins Seraphim in fighting her, Kyoko reveals she decided to start harvesting souls in order to become immortal. Ayumu manages to grab a hold of Kyoko while Seraphim stabs through him to get to her. However, she manages to survive and wounds Seraphim, forcing Eucliwood to step in. Eucliwood negates all of Kyoko's attacks and manages to transform herself into a Maso Shoujo, which brings Ayumu to the conclusion that it was Eucliwood who absorbed Haruna's magic, not him. Eucliwood uses the power of her words to kill Kyoko over and over, which also forces her to feel the pain of each death herself. However, Kyoko manages to stop this by tearing her eardrums and attacking Eucliwood, with a powerful explosion that knocks her unconscious. Resolved to protect Eucliwood, Ayumu manages to negate Kyoko's magic before killing her over and over until she runs out of harvested souls, leaving her with just her own, which he decides to spare. Eucliwood mentions the presence was that of a zombie that she was forced to kill when it was consumed by malice. Ayumu gets Haruna and Eucliwood to help him study so he doesn't have to go to summer school. Following the exam, as Ayumu searches for Haruna battling a horse Megalo, he gets a call from Dai-sensei asking him to hold onto a package for her. When Ayumu finds Haruna, he is restrained by Jellyfish Megalo but is rescued by a ramen delivery girl who defeats Megalo with tonkatsu soup. She is revealed to be a vampire ninja named Maelstrom. When Haruna gets annoyed with Ayamu ignoring her, she pushes Ayamu into Male, making them accidentally kiss. Male takes Ayamu and Seraphim to her secret base, and shows them how they use the machine to rain tonkatsu soup on hordes of Megalos. Seraphim reveals to Ayamu that according to the ninja code, because they kissed, Ayamu and Male are married, regardless of whether it was an accident or not. Afterward, Ayamu and the girls celebrate Tanabata. The next day at school, Maelstrom, who is known as Yuki Yoshida in school, declares her married status to Ayamu's entire class, while Ayamu discovers that the item Dai-sensei wanted him to hold on to is X-ray glasses. Ayamu realizes that the X-ray glasses were meant for Seraphim, to read secret messages. Haruna has a weird dream involving Ayamu trying to kiss her and beats him up for it. Yuki asks her friends Taiko Hiramatsu and Kanami Mihira for advice on how she can learn to like Ayamu, trying various things such as homemade lunch or walking him home. Meanwhile, Seraphim receives her secret message. Haruna finds Ayamu and demands a date. He ends up inviting all of the girls, and the next day they all go to the mall, where Haruna becomes annoyed at Yuki's attachment to Ayamu. Later, Haruna asks Ayamu to kiss her, but she settles for pummeling him instead. When they return to the others, they discover Eucliwood has gone missing. Eucliwood is confronted by the evil zombie she thought she had killed. Meanwhile, Seraphim reveals that she had received orders to kill Eucliwood, since her clan believes that her magic is attracting Megalos, but Ayamu manages to convince her to abandon the mission. The zombie's threats to harm her friends cause Eucliwood's emotions to waver, summoning a large Kappa doll that lands on top of Haruna and starts crushing her. Dai-sensei arrives and knocks the Kappa off Haruna, only for it to land on Yuki instead, who then becomes possessed and summons a weapon named Mysticore, which goes out of control. Mysticore prepares to self-destruct, but Ayamu manages to embrace Yuki and stop the explosion. As the zombie takes his leave, Eucliwood becomes afraid she may hurt her friends and decides to leave them, leaving behind a note for Ayamu. Months have passed, but Ayamu and the others have been unable to find Eucliwood. Having disobeyed her orders to assassinate Eucliwood, her fellow vampires order Seraphim killed. A violin is delivered to Ayamu's house, which Seraphim takes an instant liking to. Later, Ayamu, Haruna, and Seraphim encounter the evil zombie named Yoruno, who attempts to kill them to lure Eucliwood back. However, they are rescued by Yuki and the other vampire ninjas, who force Yoruno to retreat. As Yuki tells Ayamu about Yoruno's location, Seraphim finds Eucliwood outside his house, but Yoruno kills her by striking her in the back. Yoruno forces Eucliwood to come with him after she ensures Seraphim's survival. Ayamu and Haruna later arrive at Yoruno's house before the vampire ninjas arrive. But Yoruno places a time bomb on Haruna's head before escaping with Eucliwood. With the bomb hopping between Haruna and Yuki, Ayamu takes the bomb and leaps out the window so it can safely explode in the air, blowing himself to pieces. Dai-sensei appears and sends Haruma's mind into Ayamu's self-consciousness, where he is blaming himself for being too weak. Haruna manages to knock some sense into him, allowing him to wake up. Later, Ayamu and Haruna appear before Yoruno and Eucliwood, while Seraphim, who had drunk Eucliwood's blood, stands against the gateway to the demon world, using the violin to play a soothing song to fight off the hordes of Megalo coming through until the other vampire ninjas arrive to back her up. As Ayamu struggles against Yoruno, Mist Leda-in reacts and convinces both Ayamu and Haruna to transform into Maso Soujos, allowing them to overcome Yoruno's mist, though Haruna is separated from Ayamu in the process. Ayamu then proceeds to beat Yoruno up for not understanding Eucliwood's feelings. Yoruno comes to understand Ayamu and Eucliwood finally agrees to let him die. Afterward, Ayamu begs Eucliwood not to leave again, and she responds with her own voice that she'll stay with him no matter what. And that's the end of the video. As always, if you liked what you saw, subscribe to the channel. I'll be uploading a lot of videos just like this, so I'll see you on the next one.